All right, listener. Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a deep dive into the 48 Laws of Power.
Oh, okay.
By Robert Greene. And before anyone listening gets any ideas, we're not advocating for all of these laws. Some of them are, let's be honest, a little bit...
They're a little...
on the ruthless side.
Yeah, a little cunning.
But I think there's a lot of wisdom.
I think so, too.
Be extracted from the 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
By Robert Greene.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like peeking behind the curtain of history and seeing how different individuals across different eras have used these strategies to gain and maintain power.
I love it. It's like almost like a psychological examination of power dynamics.
Right.
More than like a how-to manual.
Exactly.
For how to be a Machiavellian mastermind.
Yeah. And kind of along those lines, the first cluster of laws that we're going to look at all kind of revolve around this crucial concept of appearances.
Okay.
And one that immediately caught my eye was Law 6, court attention at all cost.
Okay.
So Greene really emphasizes that standing out is absolutely crucial, especially in a world where, you know, everything is judged by its appearance.
I mean, it's more than just wearing flashy clothes.
Absolutely. It's about really cultivating a persona, a presence that draws people in. I mean, think of P.T. Barnum.
Okay.
You know, the 19th century showman.
Yeah.
He understood that.
Yeah.
Grabbing attention, even sometimes through controversy, was absolutely key in a world that was overflowing with information.
Well, he was the master of spectacle, right?
Exactly.
So you have to give him that.
He knew how to capture the public's imagination, even if it meant, you know, bending the truth a little bit.
Yeah.
But then Greene kind of flips the script with Law 16, use absence to increase respect and honor.
Oh, that's interesting.
It seems kind of counterintuitive, right?
Right. Yeah, you would think that you would want to always be...
constant visibility.
Yeah.
But Greene's suggesting that making yourself scarce can actually increase your perceived value.
That was like playing hard to get.
But exactly.
On a societal level.
On a grand scale, it creates a sense of, you know, anticipation and mystery.
Okay.
You know, if you think about how Queen Elizabeth I used this tactic to maintain control and mystique.
Right.
In her court.
So I shouldn't be flooding everyone's inbox. I should be...
a little strategic silence.
Yeah. Wow, this is like making me rethink my entire...
your communication strategy.
Communication style, yeah. But, okay, so...
and speaking of
this is good.
Image control, Law 25, recreate yourself. This feels incredibly relevant for today.
Yeah.
You know, it's fascinating how this law has evolved over time. In the past, self-creation was more of a tool used by, you know, the elite artists.
Okay.
You know, you think of George Sand adopting a male persona to gain acceptance in the literary world.
And it worked, right?
It did. But what's striking is how in today's age of, you know, Instagram and curated online identities, we're all kind of constantly engaged in this game of self-creation.
Whether we know it or not.
Whether we realize it or not.
It makes you wonder how much we're in control.
Right.
And how much we're being controlled.
That's a great question. That's a question that we could probably spend an entire dive exploring.
Episode on. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit here and dive into some of the laws that deal with deception and manipulation.
Okay.
This is where it starts to get a little
dicey.
Dicey, yeah.
So Law 12, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim.
Ah.
That one.
It's a little unnerving.
It gave me pause.
Yeah, when you phrase it like that. So strategic kindness as a tool.
As a tool for
manipulation.
Manipulation. Yeah, it's certainly one interpretation. He uses the example of Count Lustig, who was a con artist, who managed to sell the Eiffel Tower.
Wow.
Not once, but twice, by preying on people's greed. So he created this illusion of honesty and opportunity.
So it's like weaponized charm, generosity. Wow.
To lower their defenses.
It's unsettling.
It is.
But also undeniably clever.
Okay.
Yeah. And that leads us to Law 26. Conceal your mistakes. Have a scapegoat around to take the blame.
Right.
It's kind of a stark reminder that, you know,
protecting your reputation.
Protecting one's reputation often comes at the expense of others.
Right.
You know, Cao Cao.
Okay.
The Chinese general that Greene uses as an example knew how to deflect blame.
Right.
and maintain control during these chaotic times,
right,
even if it meant sacrificing others
right,
to protect his image.
So appearances, manipulation.
What about just like projecting this image of power?
Okay.
Right from the get-go.
That's where Law 34, be royal in your own fashion, act like a king to be treated like one, comes into play.
I like that.
It's about, embodying confidence and authority to influence how others perceive you.
It's kind of like that fake it till you make it mentality.
It is.
But like on a grander scale.
Yeah, think of Christopher Columbus.
Okay.
He was essentially a salesman,
using
this very tactic to secure funding for his voyages. He demanded, respect, royal treatment to bolster his credibility and make his, ambitious plans seem more believable.
So sometimes the perception of power can be just as influential as actual power.
I think so.
It makes you wonder how many people throughout history have mastered this
art of performance.
This art of performance.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Maybe we could do like a whole deep dive on charisma, but
yeah, another time. Okay, well, this is good. So we've talked about appearances. We've talked about projecting this image of power. What about the strategic side of things?
Okay.
How do we use strategy and timing to our advantage?
All right, let's get tactical. So that's where we get into some really fascinating laws, like Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit.
Oh, okay.
It's, a kind of a classic example of leverage, but, it definitely...
It's a little morally gray.
Ethical flags for me.
Yeah. There's a fine line between delegating effectively.
Right.
And then just, taking advantage of other people's hard work.
Yeah.
And you see this tension, really highlighted, I think, in the story of Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. I mean, Tesla's work on AC electricity
groundbreaking.
was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But, Edison very often overshadowed him.
Yeah.
And
took a lot of the credit.
Yeah. It's
a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
About, the pitfalls of ambition. And the importance of recognizing the contributions of others.
It makes you think about all the unsung heroes throughout history.
Right.
That just never really...
got the recognition they deserved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Law 7 is pretty straightforward.
It is. And then...
But, it's got that little...
Dark side, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this idea of choosing your battles strategically, of knowing when to act and when to hold back, really comes to the fore in Law 9.
Okay.
Win through your actions, never through argument.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're trying to persuade or influence somebody. Sometimes, showing someone something is a lot more powerful.
Absolutely.
Than getting into this heated debate.
It's about being subtle and picking your moments.
Yeah.
And understanding that, a well-timed action can be far more effective than a forceful argument. Greene uses this great anecdote about Michelangelo and how he deftly avoided a clash with his patron by just using a clever demonstration.
Oh, I love that.
To make his point.
So instead of,
arguing and arguing, he showed him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you catch more flies with honey.
Exactly.
Than vinegar.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good one.
Law 9. Yeah. That's a good one. And that leads us to this, really crucial concept of timing, which Greene explores in Law 33. Discover each thing's timing.
Ooh, timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
It really is.
He argues that mastering timing is essential for maximizing your impact. And achieving your goals. I mean, this applies to...
Everything. From launching a product to making a request.
To telling a joke.
Yeah. It really does. And if you want to see a really disastrous example of how not to understand timing, you only have to look at Napoleon.
Oh, yeah.
And his invasion of Russia.
Yeah.
His failure to grasp the importance of timing.
Yeah. The Russian winter.
Especially the brutal Russian winter.
Yeah.
Ultimately led to his downfall.
Yeah.
A costly lesson.
Big time. So even the most brilliant strategies...
Absolutely.
If the timing's off...
it all falls apart.
They're worthless.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
shift gears a little bit.
And
delve into this kind of ethically complex territory of dealing with, rivals or those we might consider enemies.
Yeah, okay.
How do we
gonna be good.
navigate these often tricky power dynamics?
Well, Law 10, infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky.
Okay.
This one's fascinating. It suggests that negativity can be contagious.
Oh, okay.
That surrounding yourself with, pessimistic or misfortune-prone individuals can actually kind of drag you down.
Misery loves company.
Misery loves company, yeah.
So are we supposed to just, avoid anyone?
Well, not necessarily avoid anyone having a bad day.
Right.
It's more about being mindful of
the energy.
The energy, exactly, that we're allowing into our lives.
Right.
And Greene uses this example of Lola Montez, who was a 19th century courtesan, who was notorious for her volatile relationships and the trail of kind of chaos she left behind.
Oh, wow.
And so she's like a prime example of how negativity can have this ripple effect.
Be careful who you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
It can rub off.
It can rub off on you.
Okay.
And speaking of choosing your battles wisely, Law 19, know who you're dealing with.
Okay.
Do not offend the wrong person.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This emphasizes the importance of understanding, individual personalities and the potential consequences.
Right. Not everybody's the same.
Of our actions, exactly.
Right. Some people you just know you shouldn't mess with.
We've all encountered people who are more prone to holding grudges or seeking revenge.
So you just got to know who you're dealing with.
It's about recognizing that not everyone reacts to situations in the same way. Some people are just more dangerous to cross than others.
Right.
And Greene highlights this with the story of the ruler of Cheng, who really underestimated the ambition and vengeful nature of his rival, Prince Cheng'er.
Right.
And it ultimately cost him his kingdom.
Wow.
So sometimes it's best to avoid confrontation altogether.
Sometimes.
Especially if you're dealing with someone who's known for holding a grudge.
Don't poke the bear.
Okay,
Duck the bear.
This next one I think is very relevant in today's world.
Yes.
Where we've got all these free trials and all these offers that just sound too good to be true.
Yeah. Despise the free lunch.
Not to deal with that one.
Law 40. So this law is all about recognizing that what appears free often comes with hidden costs or obligations. There's no such thing as a truly free lunch, right?
We all know that by now.
Whether it's a favor, a gift, a deal, there's always a potential price to pay.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
And to illustrate this point, Greene uses the example of the Spanish conquistadors. And their, relentless pursuit of El Dorado. This mythical city of gold. They were so blinded by this promise of, free riches. That it ultimately led to their downfall.
Ruin.
Yeah. It's
be wary.
It's a reminder to be wary. Be skeptical.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've talked about gaining power, navigating these tricky relationships.
Right.
Now let's consider how to maintain power once you've attained it.
Ooh, this is where it gets really good.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
And one of the most insightful laws in this regard is Law 41.
Okay.
It's Law 41, avoid stepping into a great man's shoes.
Oh, that's interesting.
It basically argues that following in the footsteps
you would think
of a really powerful figure
that would set you up
can actually be a disadvantage.
Okay.
That trying to fill those, large shoes can lead to constant comparisons and this uphill battle.
It's always going to be
to establish your own unique identity. And Greene uses the example of Louis V.
Okay.
Who succeeded.
The Sun King.
The legendary Sun King, Louis IV.
Talk about a tough act to follow. The builder of Versailles.
Exactly.
The epitome of absolute monarchy.
So Louis XV, while he was initially popular, really struggled to emerge from his great-grandfather's shadow.
Wow.
And ultimately, couldn't maintain that same level of authority and control.
Right.
And, he ended up being known for extravagance, indecisiveness.
Right.
Which contributed to
the unrest.
The unrest that ultimately led to
the French Revolution.
The French Revolution.
So don't just imitate, don't try to outdo, forge your own path.
Exactly.
Create your own legacy.
So in contrast to, avoiding the shadow of a powerful figure.
Okay.
Law 42, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. suggests a much more direct approach.
Oh, okay.
To maintaining control.
Yeah.
It's about, understanding that targeting the leader, the key figure in any power structure.
So take out the head honcho.
Can be incredibly effective.
And everything crumbles.
Yeah, it can be a brutal strategy, but it's one that's been used effectively throughout history.
I mean, how many times have we seen that?
Greene uses the example of, after the death of Ivan the Terrible.
Right.
The Russian court was just thrown into this chaos.
Total chaos.
With no clear successor, and it took years for power to consolidate once again.
Yeah. So if you want to disrupt something,
take out the leader.
Take out the leader. Bold move.
It's a bold move, but
it's very effective.
It can be incredibly effective.
Okay.
But then we have Law 43, work on the hearts and minds of others.
Oh, okay.
Which takes a much more subtle approach.
A little less Machiavellian, this one.
This one emphasizes the importance of, appealing to people's emotions.
Okay.
Their desires, winning their loyalty.
Right.
Through, genuine connection and understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Greene uses the example of Chico Liang, who was this brilliant strategist in ancient China, who was known for inspiring immense loyalty in his followers by treating them with respect.
Okay, so yeah.
Understanding their needs.
More of like a benevolent leadership style.
It's not just about brute force or authority.
Yeah.
It's about building trust, fostering genuine relationships.
That makes sense.
It's a reminder that true leadership is about inspiring others.
To want to follow you.
To follow willingly, not through
fear or force.
Fear or coercion.
Right. Okay, well, this has been quite a journey.
It has.
We've gone from appearances to strategy to navigating all these relationships.
Right.
Now to how to maintain power.
Yeah.
Any final words of wisdom?
Well, I think Law 48, Assume Formlessness, provides a fitting conclusion to our exploration. It emphasizes the power of adaptability. Of being, fluid, flexible in the face of, ever-changing circumstances.
Right, because if you're too rigid,
you become brittle.
You're going to break.
Unable to bend with the winds of change.
Okay, so be like water.
Exactly. Sure. Greene uses the analogy of water.
Right.
It adapts to any container.
Right.
Flows effortlessly around obstacles.
Right.
And he suggests that this ability to adapt is crucial not just for individuals, but for entire societies.
To thrive. Okay, so be adaptable. Inspire, don't demand.
Right.
Choose your battles. Forge your own path.
Carve your own path.
We've covered a lot.
We have.
But I think the main takeaway is these power dynamics, these laws are at play.
They're constantly at work.
All the time.
Whether we realize it or not.
Whether we realize it or not.
And so this awareness, this understanding of these subtle forces
can help us make better decisions.
Can help us, navigate the complexities of life with,
greater clarity.
Greater clarity and purpose.
This was fantastic.
It was fun.
Listener, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Robert Greene's
The 48 Laws of Power.
The 48 Laws of Power. And I have to say, I found it really thought-provoking.
It's amazing how these principles, that we've seen throughout history still resonate.
Still resonate today.
In the modern world.
As you go about your day, see if you can spot any of these laws in action.
Yeah.
You might start seeing the world.
In a new light.
Yeah, in a whole new way. Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning and keep diving deep.